Pass left draft, so trying something new here. It's what I'm going to call a flash draft. So what I've done is I've done a draft on Magic Arena. This time it's Amonkhet Remastered, so it's a brand new set. And what I've done is I've passed that down to as fast as I can and still be able to talk you through what's going on. So I've cut little bits out where the opponent's been thinking a little bit or where I've been thinking a little bit. I've sped bits up where there's nothing much happening, so it takes you through it. So I don't take it too much of your time. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. We focus on limited content. What we often do is commentate a draft. So we've got a pot of 8 drafters. We'll commentate the draft. We'll commentate the rounds and take you through it. This is more fast type of format where for my video where I'll take you through one of my own drafts. So hope you like it. We'll get into the draft and see what you think. Let us know in the comments if you think it's went well. Not so much my draft content or my draft decisions. Feel free to comment on that as well. But let us know if you like this format of video. See you in the draft. Okay, going into this draft, pack 1, pick 1. There wasn't a huge amount to choose from, really. There's some alright cards in there. Open Fire is a really good red card. You know, it's basically lightning bolt, does cost 3 mana, but in a limited format, that's still good. But that mythic was looking us too nicely. I didn't really want to not rare draft it, to be honest. And like I said, there's not anything that's really pulling us any which way. The next pack, however, Sandworm Convergence is, from my memory, one of the better rares. It's a huge mana cost, but when you get it out, it just effectively often wins the game. And I was quite happy to pick this up. But when you're drafting this card, you need to be able to get this. So you need some early interaction, some ways to remove other stuff, and I know that I need to want to prioritise some ramp to get there. Next pack, there is a Sifter Worm in there, but having picked 2 expensive cards to start with, I wasn't really wanting to go and pick another expensive card next. The Splendid Agony, that's a nice little removal spell and combat trick, so you can often get a 2-for-1 with that quite nicely in combat, and I was happy to take that. Next pack, nothing huge going on here. Onrikudu's alright, the Contravailing Winds is fine, Slitherblade is a bit of a meme deck, but one that's seen all around. Deserts are really important though, and picking deserts early is often correct, so that's why I would put Desert True. I don't have any white cards yet, but I know that picking deserts early is really good. This one, looking at Desert for the Mindful, it's between that and the Unquenchable Thirst. The Unquenchable Thirst gets a lot better with those deserts I was talking about. It's really a toss-up between the two. I decided to go for the Thirst in the end because it is a removal spell. It does work without a desert, but it works a lot better with a desert. 2 mana to tap a creature and keep it tapped down. And like those deserts as well, they also allow you to cycle to do something late game. If you pick a land late game, you can still cycle it away. Looking here, some expansive cards. We've got Farm to Market. Farm is flat out decent removal spell, and then Market will do some good work for you in the late game as well. Next pack, we didn't have a huge amount going on again. Blighted Bat is fine. That's more a zombie card. The Naga Oracle is fine. I've still got quite a high mana curve at this point. This pack is another one where there is nothing really to take. That Appeal to Authority is better in an aggro deck. Go for the Desert. Here, go for the Prowler, I believe. Or maybe it's Flood Waters. No, the Desert. Go for the Blue Desert. I've got the deserts in there. Go for the colours blocker because I don't really know what colours I'm playing yet. The Feral Prowler, it's fine. Filler. The Bitable Sharpshooters is a really good card, and I could have taken that and just kind of tied it up at the end of the pack. Got to pack 2. Nissa seems good to me. Again, not a huge amount going on in the pack. That Sharpshooter is alright, but the Nissa, it's not the most broken mythic in the world. It's a good card though, and I'm quite happy to take that, especially when we do this ramp thing, because what I can do, you can put it down and X equals 6, so 8 mana, X equals 6, and get 2 5/5 flying lands out to attack with. This one, I haven't had any ramp yet, so the Naga Vitalist is important, so I snap that off quite quickly. But then we'll get this one with Hepatra. Now, I don't have a huge amount of black at this point, but Hepatra is really broken. And if I get it at this point, I'm able to pick up some more black later on. There's 3 ramp spells in that pack as well, though, so I'm really hoping to wheel one of them. Next pack, there's Hope Tender, which is another ramp card, so making sure I get in that ramp because I've got a bit of a game plan. I want to get those big green spells at the top, blue as well. Hopefully get the black in as a splash if I pick up the stuff to go with it. Getting here, another Naga Oracle. It's not a great card. I could have went for a Cartouche of Ambition, but I wasn't really sold on black at this point. It does work really well with Hepatra. Hepatra does just take over the game if you can get it going. Got a Sprint in mind, easy. Ramps, fixes, so I can get the black mana if I need it. At this point, I was happy to take the Sifter Worm. There wasn't much else going on. Sunscorched Desert is a desert, but it's not doing what I want. I'm not aggro. If you're aggro, it's quite good. Don't actually have any desert payoffs really so far, so I'll take that Sifter Worm and take out some of the other big stuff. You can look at the curve as well. What happens when you get the split cards is it puts them, I think it's the total mana cost, so the total mana cost of the cards is 6 or even higher because it's the total of the two halves. But really they're 3-drop cards, so I need to fix the mana curve. Also that Nissa is not a 2-drop card, so that needs to go into a slightly different place. So it's going a little bit weird in that sense. Cartouche Knowledge is good, draws cards, makes some of the big things flying. The Cultivator is more ramp, so that's when there was 3 ramp cards that were going around earlier, that's the one that wheels. Some sideboard cards and just finishing off the pack. Pack 3, Ronus, great, green mythic, that's exactly what I want. But my issue here was that I didn't have a huge amount of big creatures, so you play it on turn 3 and it's not able to attack, it's not able to block. I'm not aggressive, I don't need that. What I do need is a bit of ramp, okay? And this Beneath the Sands is the card I needed. It felt bad to pass on the Ronus, but hey ho, the Beneath the Sands is a better card for me. That Cycle as well, again, makes sure it's not dead in the late game, and it will help us to fix for this fairly greedy deck. Another ramp creature, Oasis Naturalist. I could have went for black removal there, but this one, hey, the Cartouche's strength is pretty good, but I'm really liking the look of that Hornet Queen. Big creature, impactful, mythic, so it fills up the collection there. Cartouche's strength, like I say, it's a good card, but I can't really pass up the Hornet Queen. Mouth to Feed makes a 3/3 hippo. Don't have a huge amount of those big creatures. I'm going to go for the ramp again on this one, so I've really got that ramp plan sorted now. I've got quite a lot of ramp cards. I can get out those really big game breaking cards early on, turn 5, turn 6 for some of for the Sandworm Convergence. My curve's looking really good, and don't necessarily have to play the black at this point, but I can if I want. You know, the Patra is good, but I haven't really picked up anything which goes with it. This pack doesn't have a huge amount going on. Just take the only card that's really in my colours. The black cards aren't doing what I want. Feeling pretty good though. It's doing a thing. It's doing a splashy thing. Get this point. Nothing really good green going on here. That Wasp with the bit red, I think, was added in from the Hour of Devastation Planeswalker deck potentially. The Obelisk Spider works really well with Hepatra, so I'm just going to take that one. The other option is the green-black split card, but that's doing the aggro thing, and I'm not really doing the aggro thing. It's a 1/4 blocker. It drains the opponent, gets us some life, works really well with Hepatra. This point again, that Cartouche of Ambition, it puts a -1/-1 counter on opponent's creature, so it works really well with Hepatra. Gives some of my big fatties lifelink, helps us stay alive, and at that point I was really happy to take it. And then it's getting to the point where you just clean up the picks, taking some things that probably don't matter. They might end up in the deck, but they're not really doing anything in particular, just rounding it out. A little bit of late ramp, bit of sideboard card there. Yep, so that levels it out. Now, when putting the deck together, and when I looked at the deck that I had in total, had a choice of whether to run the black or not. Well, that's what I first thought. And then I had another thing about it and thought, well, actually the low blue stuff's not doing a huge amount. So I might actually use the blue as the smaller splash and run big green base with a bit of black, Hepatra and Obelisk Spider coming in the black. You've got the Splendid Agony as well, which puts a -1/-1 counters on things, and then have the blue up at the top end. And this is what you can see I end up with. I was really happy with it. The ramp's really there. It's doing, hopefully, what I need to do. It's not got a huge amount of removal, which might be an issue with some of the really aggro decks which are in the format, but I'm happy to run this and see how it goes. So I'll quickly take you through the rest of the games and let you see how it goes. I'll give you a clue. It's not awful. It's a good deck. It's a strong deck, and it's going to have some exciting games. So make sure you stay tuned and see how they go, because every single one of these games is interesting in its own way, and there's quite a lot of variation in them as well. See you in round 1. Okay, round 1. Playing against a... Ooh, that's very flavourful. Playing against an Eternalised Warrior. Start off here, no green mana. I really want green mana with this, so I'm going to mulligan that away. Much better hand. Natural Tron, all 3 colours that I need. Got 2 Cultivators, got the Obelisk Spider. That Kudu's not doing a huge amount. It's fine with the Obelisk Spider, but it's easily the card that I'm going to put back. Going to the next pack, next card to put down. Could put the blue down, but I'm going to put the black down because I can hold that blue, let the opponent not know that I've got blue in my hand. Play the Cultivator, I get a couple of blockers. The opponent start with a green desert. Play a creature, good attacking creature. Okay, not a huge amount going on their side of the board. I could ramp here, but I don't want to pull a land out of my deck because if I pull a land out, that means I'm less likely to draw one next turn. I really want to make that land drop. I'm a 1/4, is able to block with 3/1. If they use a trick to get rid of my 1/4, that's fine. I'm still going to get a -1/-1 counter. They could remove it. You can eat a removal spell. Drew the land that I want. That's great. So I can, again, I'm going to leave the Spring to Mind in my hand because that's a card that I can cast. The Cultivators are something I can leave on the board to sacrifice, and then I'm not spending the card. It's already got out, being the blocker. I can go and pull out the islands that I need. Drew another land, exactly where I want. So now I can use Spring. I can go and get a land to come and play tapped. I can then activate the Cultivator. Opponent's really stuck on land. They're getting out 3/3, but next turn I'm getting out a 5/5, and then another 5/5, and then another 5/5, and then another 5/5. So pulling cards out of the deck as well. And you can see that the opponent doesn't really stick around much longer after that. So can't do anything about it. They're stuck in 3 mana. I'm at 7 mana. I've pulled a load of cards, lands out of my deck, so I've got more gas that's coming. I'm at the point where I can cast anything that I draw as well, so happy days. Round 2. Let's see if it's going to be as quick as the first round was. Starting hand, it's not as got as many early drops, but opponent going first. If they're really aggro, I might end up regretting this, but I'm going to keep. I've got some ramp there. I've got an early-ish blocker. They're playing red. It's not a very good indication here. Yeah, definitely got the exert thing going on. Getting the Naga Vitalist, that's exactly what I wanted. 2 drop, it's going to ramp us, it's going to help us get into some of those big things. They're going to exert as the attack. Don't want to block, I want to leave this up. It's not going to kill their creature. They can't attack with it next turn because they've exerted. The Thorn Murloc, exactly the type of thing that I expect to see. Again, not giving anything away with the blue mana. The Spring to Mind might give that away a little bit, but I can ramp, I can then ramp again next turn, and then I can start getting out some of these big spells not long after that. So next turn I'm going to have 6 mana, turn after that, hopefully I'm going to have 8 mana. They're attacking, it's only for 2. They could have a removal spell, and that would kind of suck, but I'm still slowly getting towards where I want to be. I've got the Desert Mindful there, so that is, I've played that this turn, so it doesn't come into play tap next turn. And what this means is that next turn I'm going to have access to 8 mana if it don't remove the Naga Vitalist, and I can play that Sandworm Convergence and start doing some really scary things for the opponent. If they do manage to remove my creature, I can play Sifter Worm. That again is some life, so yeah, that's fine. Now that was a scary thing for them to put down. I'm still going to put down the Sandworm Convergence because the Sifter Worm, because the life gain is key. And at this point, Horn of Queen on top, so I'm going to gain 7 life from that. So I've got a big 7/7 I can block with. Now obviously their Ceradon is going to. They've got a desert. They've got the Ramnap Ruins, so they can make the Sifter Worm not be able to block. But I can chump block with the Naga Vitalist. I'm fairly happy to do that at this point, and I don't really have any lands coming through. Unfortunately, what they then do is they make it not be able to block with their next creature when they play it. Don't remember the opponent being this slow. Come on, opponent, where are you? There it is. So I can't block, so I'm going to take a whole load of damage. So yes, I'm at 16, but that quickly gets eaten away. I can't block at all here. But the good thing is I've got that Horn of Queen on top. The opponent does know I've got the Horn of Queen on top, and that's going to put out a load of blockers. So even though they've got that Ceradon, they've got the Pinger. Pinger's quite good against my 1/1s, but they've got a Ceradon that can make something not be able to block, but I've still got 4 1/1 blockers here with Death Touch, which can take out anything that they attack with. Put into blow, remove the big boss, but that's not the biggest thing in world. You know, it's more the ETB trigger, which I like on the Hornet Queen. And next turn I can play that Sandworm Convergence, or I can play the Unesh. But I'm getting all these big threats, things that they really can't deal with, and just trying to stabilise, keep in a good place, stop them from attacking too hard, and cross my fingers. Now, there's plenty of things that they could play at this point where it would just end the game on the spot. They've pinged one of my creatures away. It does cost them an exert. I've got a few things going on in my hand. I've got that Hapatra, and I've got the Kudu, and the thing I might be wanting to do, yep, so play the Unesh, it's fine. Some good cards in the pile. They put the Cartouche as a one-off because they really don't want me to play that. But now I've got that, I can play the Cartouche of Ambition. I can put -1/-1 counters everywhere, give something lifelink. I'm quite happy to attack with the Worm because I'm going to get another one. And at this point it's going to be really awkward for the opponent to try and get through it. So, feeling much better. Play the Cartouche of Ambition. Give my flyer lifelink. I was going to put the -1/-1 counter on the 3/1, but didn't have time because the opponent just scooped. Let's hope game 3 goes just as well. Okay, game 3. Had really two good first 2 games. Going to game 3. For once I don't need a mulligan, so that's nice. Got a hand, very keepable hand here. Got turn 1 Cultivator. Turn 3 Brawl if I want to. It's not really doing what the game plan does, but it's something that I can play, and it keeps the opponent from attacking me. I can just use it as a 3/2 blocker. Hornet Queen, that's feeling really nice, so I can start getting out there. Got something to aim for. Got a Sandworm Convergence now. At this point, yes, it's nice to have those big threats in my hand, but I really need ways to cast them. The Cultivator can pull a land out and put it on the battlefield. Another land is there. I kind of want some more ramp, so another ramp spell, Oasis Naturalist, Oasis Ritualist, the 2/4 which taps for 2 mana of any one colour if it's exerted, and that would help us to really get that Sandworm Convergence out nice and early. They're doing the aggro thing, so it's quite scary actually at this point. Grab the land, get another Cultivator, get the Brawler out. So I've got blockers. Make us feel a bit better. Next turn I'm going to have 6 mana, so I'll be able to play the Unesh next turn because I'm going to have a double blue as well, and that'll give me a decent blocker in the air, and it's also going to draw me some much needed cards, and I'll make sure that one of those cards, if not 2 of those cards, will be a land as well. So I'm going to get a nice blocker out. They give me the choice of 2 sets of 2. Each one has a land in it. Now at this point, top or bottom. I'm going to go for the top one because I do want that land. It's got the ramp stuff. They don't know that I've got other big fatties in my hand that I need that 7th land for, because, you know, they think, oh well, Unesh is probably top of the curve. But I've got a 7-drop and an 8-drop in hand that are really going to turn the tide in my favour. Block with the 0/3 because I don't want them to bring their Sunscourge champion back. Got a free attack in there, might as well. I've got lots of blockers which can deal with their creatures. Feeling really good. So I've got the Hornet Queen out. Hopefully going to draw into land soon. If not, I can always just crack the Ritualist to get the Cultivator to get my next land. I've got the Ritualist in hand as well. I've got a removal spell in hand, which can take out 2 of their things. Drawing more ramp. Might as well cast one of those ramp spells. I've got another blocker I can play. Feeling really happy about where I am. I took the damage last turn. Didn't really see myself at a particularly low life total. There are tricks that they could play, but I decided to risk it instead of using 2 creatures to block with, and also known about some of the things that I had in my hand. So they're tapping creatures, tapping some of the Death Touchers. Not too surprising, but I've still got plenty of Death Touchers. I've still got plenty of other good creatures. I can also leave the 2 mana open to sack the Unesh, so that's going to get us some life. They play Avenger, give it haste, make the wall not be able to block, but I still have the Cultivator. I'm happy to block with that. I'm going to lose the extra ramp, but I'm not taking the 3 damage. Don't want to take that. And knowing that I've got Splendid Agony in hand for 2 turns later when they can cast it. But oh, look at that, I've drawn a Sifter Worm. So the Sifter Worm can get us a life. It can also quite happily block a lot of their stuff. Gain the 4 life is going to be fantastic here. Sorting out my draws. Getting in there. Comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. Not really worrying about what's going to happen at all. I've got my 8 lands out. I can cast the Sandworm Convergence, or I can get some blockers out. Now this is a bit of a glitch. So it looks like I can only put it on the bottom, but actually it does end up going on top. And we'll have to report that to Wizards because that is a glitch that have happened a couple of times. Attacking in with some of the bigger stuff. They have to block some bits and pieces here. I've got that Splendid Agony in case I need it. They actually blink one of my creatures, which is good because it comes back and it comes back untapped, so I'll be able to block with it, and it won't be exerted. They block with the champion. Makes sense, they'll not want to minimise the damage. I should have taken out the Bloodlust Inciter instead of the other 1/1 here, but it's not the end of the world. I do get rid of their 3/1, that's going to do some quite scary things, but next turn I just get to play the Sandworm Convergence and the opponent realises that they can't do anything about that. So again, Sandworm Convergence just really winning that game for us. Right, round 4. Fingers crossed, I'm going to keep this winning streak going. Start off, no green mana, got a mulligan that unfortunately, and actually at this point I'm thinking maybe I need a little bit more green mana in because most of my deck is green and the green helps us get the other colours. My mull's a lot better. 2 Spring to Mines, I don't need both of those. I prefer to go 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop with a Naga Oracle potentially getting us one of my win the game cards out. Use a Spring to Mines to get my blue mana. So it feels quite good. I'm going first as well. They might be playing some kind of aggro deck. Could be zombies, could just be a white-based aggro deck. It's white-green. Nice aggressive creatures for them there. I've got a couple of removal spells in hand. I think I'll take the turn off. I'll get my land onto the battlefield. With 5, maybe 6 mana next turn. I can play 2 different removal spells next turn. But the Cartouche Strength really, it just ruins us here. And even looking at my hand here, I can play the 2/4, but it's not going to do very much. Didn't draw land, which was kind of unfortunate. Really, really tough situation. And to be honest, looking at them, it was tough. I knew I needed a land. I thought I'd keep the Patra, might be able to get some -1/-1 counters stuff going here, getting some life, getting some Death Touch and stuff out. You can see as well that the Patra said it was going on the bottom, but they played the Giant Crocodile. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to be. I am able to... So they've exerted their creature. I've got the 2 removal spells in hand. I can only play 1 next turn, but I'll be able to get a Death Toucher out. But they might leap, make it a 7-power flyer, and kill us. So this is some of the really aggro decks you can see coming out in this format. It's what you've got to be able to play around. I got a little bit unlucky there, I think. Mulligan, I could have maybe used some of my removal spells, but that Cartouche of Ambition really just ruined us. And from that point, I'd basically lost. That was the card that beat it for us. The Crocodile was one thing, but the Cartouche was the bigger threat there, and that was the thing that really turned the tide in the opponent's favour. Okay, game 5. So 3-1 a minute. Pretty happy with that record. Hoping I can get the 7 wins out. Unfortunately, even though I've swapped some lands around a little bit, I've added a couple of forests for, I think I've taken out 1 of each. Decide that I need a mulligan again. Mulligan, got the green, got the ramp. 2 ramp cards, 1 and 2. Turn 3, plan is to sack the cultivator. So yeah, pretty happy with what I can potentially do there. Got the spider. Unfortunately, I don't have the black mana, but I can get that with the cultivator, so I can use that to then block a little bit later on. Keep the cultivator there. Can block and sack, and that will help just stop the threat of life loss from the opponent. It'll the opponent doesn't play anything though, so it's kind of worrying us a little bit that I'm gonna be facing a counter, but I'd rather them counter my my mediocre creature. It's quite good, but it's not great. Play the Oracle, and what I'm able to do is I've got the desert in hand, so they counter that. I can play an island. I can then use the Vitalist and the land to cycle away the desert, because I don't really need that desert. I don't want it to come in tapped. I prefer to have an untapped land. I can just cycle it away. Quite happily there. Better ramp spell. So try and bait out the counters. I can also, if I make sure I'm not going to lose the auto tapper here, so I can play both of these. Not wanting to play another counter, but if they're not going to counter either of these creatures, they're probably not going to counter. They probably don't have the counter to play against one of the bigger things at a later point. So yeah, feeling quite good. Need to draw a big threat, but I've got ways to get to them. I've got some card draw spells. Edifice of the Authority is not doing a huge amount against me. More land isn't really what I wanted here. It's starting to flood a little bit in my hand. But again, all I need is one of my big things to come out. The Sifter Worm can let us scry into my other big things, get us alive, and it's a big threat by itself. The Sandworm Convergence just wins the game on the spot. And, you know, there we go. Sandworm Convergence. Happy with that. They've got a flyer out. They don't have counter mana open. Yes, they could remove Artifact or Enchantment, but that's not played a huge amount. And I'm going to start getting these 5/5s every turn. So, coming out. They've got a flyer that can't do anything with. They've got a lot of 1/1s that they can't attack with. They copy one of my 5/5s, which is pretty good, but they get 1/5/5, I get a billion. Beneath the Sands, Cycle is showing off how good it is here. It's a really good spell early game, but it can be cycled away. Unfortunately, it just cycles into a land. They throw a load of their things into my 5/5 here. I don't know if they realise I get another one, but I do, so there we are. So yeah, I don't know if they realise that's quite how it worked, but I'm happy to trade my 1/5/5 for their 3 creatures. They make theirs fly, and at first I was a bit scared, but then I remembered I couldn't attack. And they give their tokens flying, so everything's got flying. It's really doing some quite funny things here. Play the Kudu, I can drop the -1/-1 counter on the Vitalist, because that doesn't really matter at this point. Trade them for 1, because I get the -1/-1 counter through the Obelisk Spider, get another worm, and really starting to go off here. I don't really want to attack into the 6/6. I want to wait until I've got a lot of worms before I attack into that 6/6. Get the Hornet Queen. Just slam it down. Happily slam that down. Really scary board now. The opponent can't do anything. I've got lots of things in the air that can attack. You know, I've got this huge board. The opponent's not got a big board. They have Wrath of God, but actually that's better for me because it clears their stuff out of the way. They've got stuff that they can embalm, but I'm going to get 5/5s every turn. I'm still flooding a little bit, but the Sandworm Convergence is stopping me from flooding too much. Here I can pull a land out and then I can draw some cards. So getting really low lands in the deck. Draw a couple of cards, get another land unfortunately, but I do have the Hapatra and it's just feel like the opponent can't do a huge amount against me. They try to do some cool stuff. To be fair, the deck does look really good, but Sandworm Convergence is so hard to win against. And you can just see the value coming out. Keep a hold of Hope Tender. You know, no need to play it, but they can't get through the Sandworm Convergence. So another win of the Sandworm Convergence, really looking to be the MVP. Game 6, playing against Elspeth, or Penguin Mask. Apparently, she might like penguins. Here, it's a bit of a risky keep. It is a keep, but I've got the ramp, so I can go play the Naga Vitalist. Hopefully get the land to play the Beneath the Sands. If not, I can use the Vitalist to play it. I can use the Beneath the Sands to get black mana for the Obelisk Spider, and I can start going off like that. Didn't draw land, a little bit worrying. I am on the play, so sorry, I'm on the draw. So you know, I was hoping to draw that. Still no land. Like I say, really wanting the land here. It looks like they're on the mirror, and I didn't get the land, so that's really concerning. Use Beneath the Sands to pull a land out of the deck, get the black mana so I can cast the Obelisk Spider, but that's really put us behind. And it's a concerning point to be at because they're obviously doing some stuff, their board's getting big, and I'm nowhere near casting any of my big stuff at this point. If I can't get the Sandworm Convergence up good, no land again, I can play the Ritualist, but if I manage to get a land, so that would be 4, 5, 6, 7, it was counter anyway, but then I would be at 7 mana, potentially 7 or 8 mana next turn. Counter the ramp. They've just got this really good board presence, and it's going to be quite difficult for us to get back. No land again. I can play the Cultivator, see if I can tease out a counter in case I got one. Play the Spider. It does actually help to settle the tables a little bit because I can block there. I'm going to block anything they play. Anything that it blocks, it's not going to die to currently, and it does drain them because it puts a -1/-1 counter on things. So it's an excellent blocker. You can see they don't want to attack. Finally got my 4th land, which feels really good. I've got the Hope Tender, which I can play, and I can hold up the Splendid Agony. So if I play the Hope Tender, that does help me ramp as well. So I am getting really close to playing those really big things next. Hold up Splendid Agony, so that'll help us to stabilise by weakening their creatures, by draining them, and hopefully help them to blow out in combat. They're still not want to attack, which is good for me. I can, because I didn't cast a Splendid Agony, I can activate the Cultivator, get the lands on the battlefield, I get my Nissa. Not really what I want to do right now. I'd rather play the Oracle. Oh yeah, because I can get the Sifter Worm out here. So 7 mana for Sifter Worm with Hope Tender, but this was bad because, as you can see, they hold up the counter. They counter with Essence Scatter, and yeah, that kind of rubbed a bit of salt in the wound. I think I might be better off playing Naga Oracle and holding up Splendid Agony there, but I wasn't to know, and Sifter Worm would have got us, if it resolved it, would have got us a life. That's 7/7. I can make 5/5s, I can't make 7/7s. But there's our Sandworm Convergence with the Splendid Agony might get us there enough. You can see here Obelisk Spider actually activating and doing what it does, puts a -1/-1 counter, does a bit of draining. I get a land, that's actually really useful at this point. So I can cast some of the other spells that are coming, using Naga Oracle. Make sure my draws are coming up are going to be good. Put the lands on top because I still want to cast my big things. I want to cast an Anissa for as big as I can as well. But it could still go either way here. That Greater Sandworm, but this Lake Claim is absolutely ruined us. So I'm going to put the counters on the Greater Sandworm while I'm still going to get the Drain trigger for it. But them stealing my Obelisk Spider when I'm at such a low life, it was one of my key blockers. The thing I could block with in the air. Yeah, that was not a good thing to happen. Looking next turn, I can play the Sandworm Convergence, so that'll stop the flyers from attacking us. It'll also let us block their Greater Sandworm, but the Obelisk Spider, if I block that, it's going to drain us and it's going to weaken my creatures. If I let it through, I still lose one, so it's not really a creature I really want to block. And I'm at 2, so there's not much I can really do at this point. Block up a little bit, take the 1, but unless I can remove the spider, which I know there's nothing in my deck that can do that, I'm pretty knackered, and you can see that's what happens here. The best thing I can hope for is if I get a Cultivator off the Nissa here, and then I can sack the Cultivator, but I don't even have the mana for that. And you can see, just didn't quite go my way. Next turn, they're able to beat me, so I handed it in. So fingers crossed, better luck for the next game. Game 5, playing against a Gold player, so, you know, hopefully that'll mean they're not as experienced. Maybe give them a bit of a schooling. Fingers crossed for the Longy. I do want it to be a good game. You can see this is an interesting hand. It's a bit different to the other ones. We don't have the ramp, but we do have that turn 1 Hepatra, and we're on the play, so I'm quite happy keeping that more aggressive hand, especially at this situation. Drawing the Ritualist, fantastic. It means I can play that turn 4 and then hopefully play the Sifter Worm turn 5. Playing that's a really impactful 7-drop. Turn 5, 7/7 trample, scry 3, gaining some life is amazing. Unfortunately, don't have 2 green mana here, so I can't. If I had 2 green, I'd be able to play the Feral Prowler and the Cultivator. Not able to do that. I did worry myself that I had to put the counter on at this point. I didn't remember that working that way, and it's not the way it does work. Play the Feral Prowler. It's more aggressive. It can draw extra cards. It's a better blocker. And then next turn I can always just play the Cultivator anyway. But I'll probably play the Ritualist, to be honest. So opponent not doing a huge amount. They're blue-green as well. They don't really know that I'm blue-green because I haven't seen the blue yet. But, you know. Not really. Oh, I can attack through here. I'm not too scared of what they've got. They're obviously holding something here. But I'll just get in for 1 damage. They're having a bit of a think. And then just play the Ritualist. Now I've also got the Unesh in hand at this point, so quite happy to play Unesh next turn instead of the Sifter Worm if I don't get the mana, and use that Unesh to get the mana. So play 2/2 in the air. I've got a better 4/4 coming next turn, if not my Sifter Worm. Or if I get a land, I could actually play Unesh and my Cultivator. So again, showing you how good that Vitalist is in these blue-green X or just green X 3 or 4 colour decks. Got no blue mana on the battlefield, but I can cast a blue-blue spell. So going for the blue mana. I don't know if that was really necessary actually at this point, because if I'd got the green mana, I could have played the Cultivator, and I've got my main blue spell out now. So blue's not going to do a huge amount for us at this point. But There we are. They've played their removal spell. Now, this is the one that requires you to have a desert, or it's at least better with a desert. What this allows us to do is to leave it up to block. So they can't attack through. If I attack with it, it stays tapped, so it will still stay tapped, but because they didn't have a desert when they played it, it's going to stay untapped. They've played their Nissa, so they've got this Nissa that I need to worry about. But what I can do, I can play the Cartouche of Ambition, Mesmerize and counter them, get the snake for Patra, and attack through with these two guys and not really worry too much about what they're going to do. They block, to draw cards, I get it for 1 damage, but I remove their guy on the ground and I play my Cultivator. Blue-green, not afraid of rats at this point, I'm just going to play everything out as I can. That Nissa, getting a little bit worried if it manages to get too high, it goes up by 2 every turn. It's got a -6 where I can turn 2 lands into 5/5 flyers. Don't really want them to do that, and also they're scrying 2 every turn, which is quite powerful. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to cast a removal spell. So I can take out one of their blockers and reduce another one. That'll help us make 2 snakes as well. So I'm going to have even more blockers or attackers at this point. So that's showing you why I really like this Hapatra. Hapatra, instead of attacking the face, I'm going to attack them. Now, what you can do with Hapatra is you can put counters on my own creatures if I wanted to. They block the Hope Tender. Don't really know why. They still lose their Nissa, but what it does allow us to do is put a -1/-1 counter on there, kills off their creature, and I get another snake. So really, really, really nice wide board, lots of threats in play, and I've got that Sifter Worm coming up as well. They play their own Sifter Worm. It'll gain them some life, but I'm quite happy with that. I've got 1/1 snakes which can kill it. They do 3 top with a really good creature on top. I do really like that bit of sort of sharpshooter. 4/4 vigilance reach, blocks, attacks well. It's really good to fight some of these, or to fight with or against some of these exert decks in green. Happy to attack with 2 1/1s. Just keep the race going and play my Sifter Worm again. Look at that, Horner Queen on the top, gain loads of life. Play the Horner Queen next turn and have lots of things to attack with in the air. So opponent's not doing a huge amount. They know what's coming up. They play their sharpshooters, but it's not going to do enough against us. And when I play the Horner Queen, I can't really do much about it. So, sorry Longy, you got your schooling, but I've had plenty of schoolings in this draft already. Okay, going into game 8. I'm currently at 5-2, so still really hoping for that 7 win. Decent starting hand. I could do with some black mana here, but I can get the Cultivator out. If I draw some black mana, I've got Patra and the Spider. And if I don't draw black mana, I can just use the Cultivator to get there. So play the blue, might as well. Don't really need to hide anything. I could choose to just play green, but I want to get the blue out in case I need double blue at a point where I need to. There we are, so we've got the Unesh. Not going to do much against them here. They're cycling, so they've cycled 2 things so far, indicating that blue, black are the cycling colours. So wait to see. It's an interesting deck. Diamond player, so probably decent. We're only halfway through the month, so there's not going to be any mythic players in limited. I know you can get them, but you know, it is a lot harder to get limited, to get mythic in limited than it is in constructed. Still got the ramp plan going on. They are pretty tapped out. Unfortunately, I've only got 1 black mana, so I can't cast both the Spider and the Patra, but I'm choosing to play the Spider first because the Hope Tender can also come out with it. Next turn, I can either play Unesh if I draw some... well, no, I can play Unesh next turn, actually. Didn't draw the land, but I can use Hope Tender to... oh, choosing not to. Keep forgetting how this went. But I can double spell, get the Patra out as well. And now if they attack, not only are they going to wither their flyer, but I'm going to get a 1/1 and I'm going to drain them as well. So, you know, that's kind of the value that I'm after here. Didn't really want to attack into their counters, which is why I didn't play, you know, my big things. But it wasn't counters that they had, it just was more cycling. So really going all in on the cycling. They've obviously got something good to go with it. Diamond player, you assume that they're quite good. If I was playing against a gold player and they're doing all this, I might think that they've just maybe drafted not that well, or didn't know the format too well. But a diamond player, I'm going to assume that they know what they're doing, and they're going to do some stuff well. Tapped out, so going to use the opportunity to cast the Unesh here while they're tapped out. Unfortunately, I lose to the auto tapper here, so I can't control Z. It just doesn't work because I've exerted the hook tender. So I make do with what I can. I grow my obelisk spider. I shrink one of their creatures. I get myself a 1/1. I drain them a little bit, but that felt really devastating actually. Not being able to get out my Unesh. I've exerted my creature for no real reason. Not a good feeling. They get out a really good creature. At this point, I might have been able to do a bit more. You know, I would have been able to have more cards in hand. I would have had my own 4/4 out. But really feel the issue with the auto tapper there. And yeah, I've went over it a couple of times and tried to think what I could have done instead. Not very much. Because I had to tap the blue. I only had one blue, so that's why I had to tap the blue. And there was no real way to choose. I suppose I could have went in full control, but usually you can control Z to undo, so I didn't really feel it was necessary. But hey ho, it happens. Try not to feel the salt, as I am sometimes known for getting. I do manage to stabilise a little bit, getting the Horned Queen out. At this point I'm thinking, well actually they're drawing, they're cycling quite a bit here. I've got a nice blocking board. Maybe just waiting for them to mill themselves out is the way to go here. So they can cycle all they want. I can keep blocking things, and just hopefully just win through that way if I don't get my my other things going on. The Sandwell Convergence would be really good. They've got their sinks, so again getting the 5/5s, stopping their flying things from attacking. They've got 2 flying things there. I do make a bit of an error here, so use the Beneath the Sands to get a basic land out on the battlefield because I want to get the lands out. But I forgot that their Consign to Oblivion has a discard 2 on the Oblivion half there. So if they Consign to balance my creature, I wasn't really paying attention. Maybe I was tilted from the misplay, not misplay earlier, but it does mean I discard my Unesh. So the second time Unesh hasn't gotten out when I really want them to, and that would have really been a useful card to have gotten out. But again, Sandwell Convergence in my deck. I've got Sifter Worm still in my deck. I've got the Dirtle Plan and just mill them out. Still going on. They're down to 17 cards in their library. They've only got 1 flyer I'm really concerned about. I've got loads of blockers in the air, although they can, and Death Touch blockers as well. Again, making it a 5/5 flyer. And with their cycling, with their Ominous Sinks, they can basically make any of my 1/1s not be able to deal the damage, and then Death Touch doesn't work. So I hedge my bets. I block with 2 insects. Maybe they can cycle to stop one of them from being able to Death Touch. Unfortunately, they managed to negate both of them, and they just really start getting the value out here. So they're cycling. They are drawing cards. They are working away at their library, but they still do have a decent amount of cards left in the library, and they're starting to get these threats out as well. Maybe in hindsight, I should have blocked that with just one of them. So then I would have another blocker, and I'm just delaying. They've got a Bone Picker out there as well. Play the Cultivator. It's not what I want. If I don't get anything next turn, I get to pull another land out of my deck. They're still well ahead. But that Drakehaven, they're cycling. They're playing Drakehaven. There's getting Control Thirst, so I can't block with the Obelisk Spider anymore. And it feels that their deck is really doing the thing that they want to do now. I don't think at this point that the Dirtle Plan is going to be enough. I really need to try and kill some of their flyers. They've only got 3 mana up here, but unfortunately have a 1 mana cycler and a 2 mana cycler. Oh, sorry, no, it was Splendid Agony. Yeah, so they just removed both my creatures. So yeah, there's a land. What I should have done there is put an upkeep stop and use the Cultivator to pull the land out before I drew. Wasn't really thinking too hard about it. Get the damage in, see if I can maybe put a bit of race on, but I'm not feeling good. Really not feeling good. They've got a lot of stuff going in the air. You can see they just start attacking through. Good game comes through. I don't know that I've got some gas left in the deck. I think they might have counter in hand, but I think Sandwell Convergence would still win for us at this point because it just shuts down all of their flyers. They've only got one non-flying creature. If I draw it, I don't draw it, and that is pretty much game. So that takes us to the last loss. Really sweet deck, played against the Diamond player. Obviously, down 4, it's not the best player in the world, but they knew what they're doing. Interesting game. All the games are really interesting. And what we'll do now is we'll go and have a look at the deck, and I'll take you through how I think it performed, any key players I thought were good, anything which I would change if I was to rebuild it again. So you can see here, it's back at the deck. Sandwich Convergence was definitely my number 1 card. It was the key player in a lot of games. It was the thing that won a lot of my games. I might have won without it anyway, but it was definitely like the thing which just really stopped them from being able to do anything too ridiculous to us. Hornet Queen was even more effective than I thought it would be. Getting out all those blockers, especially in this really aggro format, is really good. Being able to just block anything, kill anything is amazing. This I didn't really see her doing much what she was do. I was happy I played her Patra. I was a little bit worried about that when I first picked it up, to be honest. And when I was getting towards the end of pack 3, I knew I had a lot more blue than I had black, but actually the black was better, and it was further down on the curve as well. So going base green black with the blue as a splash. You also see I did change my lands a little bit. I went up to 8 forests. Still not a huge amount of forests, but you know, it was a little bit of greedy mana base. But you can get away with that with these multicolored green based decks in our Devastation. Really encourage you to give them a try because they are very exciting to play and you can do some ridiculous stuff. And also, if you start off in these and you open a bomb like Glorybringer in pack 3, you can still play that even if you've not played any red stuff so far, because your Oasis Ritualist can just play the Glorybringer straight away. So yeah, happy with how the deck did. Would have liked to get 6 or 7 wins, but there we are. I had some really interesting games. The only one that was really a bit of a non-game was, I think it was round 3, where I played against the green-white Exert deck. But you know, that's what happens in the format. Aggro is really good. You've got to be able to play against it, but there are other ways you can play it apart from just aggro. So might do another one of these again. Let us know in the comments what you think about how the chat's gone. Really interested to hear what you think. Do you like the faster drafts? Do you like the you know, doesn't take as much of your time up, so the action keeps going and it takes up less of your time? Let us know. You should be able to see here is our M21 draft, commentator draft that we did a few weeks ago. We've got another one coming on Tuesday, and also at the bottom here you should be able to see the hype video that we did for Double Masters. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, let us know what you think, and I hope to see you again for next week when we have a brand new M21 draft coming. See you then.